Oh, wow. I am in awe of people that are joining. So before we get started with the main guest, which I'm super grateful to have on, I'm going to tell you who I am, because I know many of you are quite new to me. So I'm just going to do a very quick introduction. So I'm Gurjit Rana, and I do heartfelt relationships, helping women that feel trapped in marriages, relationships, or by family to become powerful, loving, and creating nurturing, heartfelt relationships again. So it's a journey that I take you on. You're very welcome to find out more. You'll see my grid. But tonight, I am super, super privileged as both a co-host and a presenter that I've done before. I take on interviews with people in the community that I think add real value and make a difference to people's relationships. And right now, I had no idea that I'm actually doing a very, very exclusive interview. And I only found that out like 2 minutes ago. So I first of all want to welcome Raj and Parm. Welcome, guys. Hello.
Hey,
Hi.
how you doing?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Very good, thank you. Very good.
So I will just share with the audience, how do I know this beautiful couple? Well, I came across Raj from Sikh Wills, I want to say about 3 years ago, no, 2.5 years ago, I think, around late 2018. There was a story that I saw. There was a story circulating on Instagram by, I think, Pink Ludu at the time, sharing about Baji's loss in his life at that moment. And I then went on to discover a bit more about the loss through an interview with Seek Forgiveness, which I saw on YouTube. And what's really stuck in my mind was your little boy at the time, a few years old, and he was in the playground. And if you're a mother, I know this will resonate with you. Your heart just went for this kid. Your heart really did, because he was stood there. I think the line that got me was he'd look up and he could see all these other mummies with their children. And he was asking, where's my mum? That was it. You know, it really, really was the moment that I felt, really felt, felt for you, Baji, of going, gosh, what do you do with such young children to lose someone in your life? So I just want to, introduce Baji. Please share your story. What was life like, 2.5 years ago?
Yeah, so just to go on from what you've just mentioned there. So yeah, I was doing the school run, and I just like the kids going to school literally about 2-3 minutes apart. And the first class went in, and I said, "Come on, Viren, well, let's walk towards your class," because Avani, my middle daughter, she went in. And then I was walking towards his class, and I turned around, and he wasn't there. And then I thought, oh, he's all up there at the playground. And that's when I thought, okay, what's he looking at? He had his little brolly, had his little yellow jacket on the brolly on his shoulder.
Mm.
And I thought he's looking at the other mums, saying goodbye and kissing their children, saying, I'll see you after school. And he comes running over to me, and he said, oh, Daddy, when's Mummy coming back? And that is when it literally just hit me. I just went down on my knees, and I just hugged him, and I just like squeezed him, and I started crying, but I really tried to hide it from the other parents. He didn't know, but that really, really, really hit me, But so Nim obviously got diagnosed with cancer. What's the date actually? It was actually 2 days ago, 2018, and we went to the hospital, and they said, look, you've got stomach cancer, your life's cut short, no treatment is ever going to get rid of it. It was a massive shock, absolutely, as you can imagine. So we walked back to the car, she started crying. I went back into the doctor's room, and I spoke to the consultant. I said, look, her life's cut short, tell me, how long she got left. And he said, do you really want to know? I said, yeah, tell me. He said, she's probably got about 18 months, 2 years maximum left. I was like, okay. And that's when it was a lot of weight to carry, because I didn't tell anybody this. I didn't tell a single person, because I also didn't want him to worry. And then 2 days later, as in like, you know, like today, we had a wedding in Gravesend, my cousin's wedding. And everything was fine. We're taking selfies, kids were having a good time, stayed in a hotel. And then we went to the reception, everyone's dancing. And then it was time to sit down for, you know, for dinner. And they had background music on. And they had Ed Sheeran play one of his, you know, one of his songs. And that is when she just burst into tears. And my cousins, they're like, what's going on? Took her out. And then I went out. My cousin followed me. He goes, what's going on? I said, look, she's just been diagnosed with cancer and it's not good at all. And that is when reality hit. And then from there, it was just in and out of hospital. She couldn't eat. And they said, look, we can't start any chemotherapy because your weight is too low. She's about 42 kilograms. And they said, we need to put a tube in your small bowel. Because she couldn't eat anything, not even like a small piece of toast. So, and then they put the tube in. And when the consultant, the surgeon, was putting it in, he felt the cancer because it was stomach cancer. And he said, look, it's very, very aggressive, very aggressive. So she was getting fed 10 hours every night through a machine in the tube. And then they said, okay, your weight's increased, so we can do chemotherapy. We did a bit of research. We went for another thing called immunotherapy, which kills mainly of the bad cells, whereas chemo kills both good and bad. They said, you're good to go, but there's a blockage in your liver. As soon as we clear that, then that's fine. Simple procedure. So the surgeon, you got the liver, you got a pin to burst it, but it was moving like that, and it burst the liver, and all the poison in the bile went in the body. And I've never seen her in that much pain before. Afterwards, she said it's like giving birth like 3 times, like all in one go. And they messed up the medication, everything. And then, to be honest, it just kind of went downhill from there. All the focus was on the liver, not on the cancer. And then come August time, I said, look, no one's really spoken about the cancer. We haven't done any scans on this. So they did a scan and they said, look, the cancer's contained, it hasn't spread. And I put this down to cannabis oil, you know. So I strongly believe that did help. And then she just deteriorated. We just couldn't manage the temperatures. It went down from 34 degrees up to like 43 degrees. And at that point, the doctor said, look, you know, we can try radiotherapy, but it's all about prolonging life now. And if it doesn't work, she got 6 weeks left. I thought, well,
sorry to interrupt. Was that operation then the main cause of what, like you say, further progressed it, made it even shortened the life?
So basically, in the end, she didn't take any chemotherapy because all the focus is on the liver. They said, we can't do nothing until we sort this liver problem out. So they tried different things, but nothing worked. And then they said, we're going to try radiotherapy. If it works, great. If it doesn't, she got 6 weeks left. And that's when I thought, I've got to tell the children. And then I told them, like Naveen, who was 9 at the time, Avani, who was 5, and Viren was 3. So Viren was too young. I told Avani and Naveen. And I said, look, Mummy's not well. Doctors are trying to fix her, as you know, because she spent about 2-3 months at a time in hospital. But I said, Mummy's not well. They're going to try and fix her, but there's a chance she might get to Babaji in the sky. And then Naveen
how do you even have a conversation like that with kids? It's just
yeah, you know what? It is definitely, without a doubt, the hardest conversation I've ever had in my life. If I've got to make a difficult call with a client or speak to someone, you know, it doesn't bother me. It's nothing telling your own children that your mummy's going to die.
And I guess the irony, Raj Baji, is that you do this day, but only when it comes on your own doorstep do you really feel it in such a significant way, right?
Yeah, totally different. Totally different. And then, and then all I remember, Naveen burst into tears. She locked herself in the bathroom, told her to come out, consoled her, and she was okay. Radiotherapy worked, but still, we just couldn't control the temperatures. And then things got worse. She wasn't eating. All like the liquid food the body started rejecting it, so it was all seeping out. And then they just turned around and said, look, we can't do anything anymore. We've got to, send her home, spend time with the family. They really pushed for hospice. We said no. We wanted to come home so the kids can spend time with them. And my mother-in-law at the time, she found it really hard to really comprehend and accept what the consultant doctors were saying, which is rightly so. It's her daughter.
How old was your daughter? Sorry, your wife at the time.
34 at the time.
Wow. It's
Yeah.
not the kind of thing you hear in your 30s. You've given birth to 3 children. You think you're at your healthiest, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You don't think when you've taken on something like childbirth, you don't, look to hear something like that afterwards, I guess.
Yeah, and on the 10th of August, we had just celebrated our 10-year wedding anniversary. So what she said is that she wanted a chocolate diamond ring. So I went to the shop and I bought it, and she said the cashier said, "Oh, have you got the size?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, it's she must be very lucky," and it was a bittersweet feeling, because we made it to our 10 years, but when she was saying that, I was like, she's only going to wear it for maybe a week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, And then I told her this, and she's like, "I'm really, really sorry to hear that." So I bought it, and we spent a good few hours, 10-year anniversary in the hospital. Gave her the ring, and then we came back home, and it was just again, she had lost a lot of weight, a lot of weight. It just, we got takeaway, but again, she couldn't eat, and it wasn't what anyone would imagine, for the 10-year anniversary.
No. I mean,
yeah,
it's not the kind of thing, like you say, that you feel like life's set up. You've got your children. You're onto your, how do I put it, the next level of your life or next stage of your life. That's the natural thing that we all think about. But I just want to draw attention to something. There is something like over 250 people watching right now. Yeah. So I'm sure you're making a huge difference to so many people. And if this story is resonating with you, or there's somebody out there that needs to hear it, please tag. Please, have them be here and, be with us and hear this amazing story. Because, I'm not going to say there is a happy ending, but we have got a story for you to share. So yeah, sorry, Baji, carry on. I mean, so 10 years in, 3 children, and this situation facing you.
And then we got to the point where the doctors couldn't do anything. And they said, look, she's not well. They're really pushing for the hospice. And we said no, wanted to come home. And then my mother-in-law, she was saying, surely you can do something. There's always hope. And then by this time, the consultant, she's quite senior. You could tell she was quite irate, with her. And she kind of said, you do realise your daughter is dying. And then she turned around to Nim and she said, you're going home to die. And I thought, blimey, that's as blunt as that. They're taught not to have any emotions. But that was really blunt. And those words have stuck with me. And I thought, do you know what? Yeah, she is actually going home to die, and we have to accept that. So went home. They arranged the transporting. I went home. All of her siblings were there, and I said, look, this is a situation. You guys have to get your head around this. It's easier said than done. It's easier for me because this is my industry, wills, end of life planning, and so on. And I've worked in the funeral industry as well. So I've buried people, I've cremated people, I've done all that. But mentally, that helped me and prepared me. But again, it was hard for them. And all I remember is her coming out, it's an ambulance, a transport ambulance, and then she came out on a stretcher. Next door neighbour was having a peek, thinking, what's going on here? I thought, yeah, this is going to be the last time she's going to come in, and she's going to go in a private, funeral director's ambulance. And everyone's like, all teary-eyed and, just saying, how you doing, Liam, trying to be positive. But, when you have that croaky in your voice, when you're like, yeah, so it was like that.
Yeah.
Had a hospital bed in the corner. Kids were really happy, to see their mummy. But just deteriorated. Nurses would come home twice a day. to do the morphine, to do the antibiotics. Another set of nurses would come to do the morphine. So the kids made friends with the nurses. You know, they enjoyed getting them coming over. But things got, you know, worse and worse, and her breathing went shallow. She lost consciousness, but she was breathing, but she couldn't make you know, she couldn't understand what was going on. And then all I remember is about the nurses came. They gave her a dose. It's called midazolam, which relaxes your muscles. And I remember getting into like an argument with like a couple of Nim's siblings and mother-in-law, and they said the nurses have given her something and it's too much of it. Then they started, you know, working out the calculations how much, and then it was all fine. I called the nurses saying, look, can you come out, this is what's happened. And then all I heard was, look, Nim's breathing's gone weird, it's gone weird. And then went into the room, and that's it. She took her last 3 breaths, and
Hello. Hi, what's your name? Hey. Oh.
Yeah. So yeah, and then this is Viren, by the way.
Hey, Viren.
This is my little 5-year-old boy, and this is Sophia. This is Parm's 7-year-old daughter.
Hi, Sophia. You all right?
Yeah.
So great to have you both.
Yeah, want to get a place? Right.
Oh.
Yeah. So, you kids all right? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, and then that's what, then took the last few breaths, and then when somebody's got a terminal illness, or when somebody's like quite ill, you sign like, it's called a DNR form, do not resuscitate form. What that means is there's absolutely no point in resuscitating this person, because you're going to put them through trauma. You can't do anything.
The body, yeah.
So what should have been a very peaceful way to go was definitely the most traumatic time in my life. It was very, very, like, how do I explain? What should have happened was, okay, she's gone, that's it. But there's wailing, screaming, all sorts. They tried, you know, she's trying to get resuscitated. It was just, literally is a circus, you know. That's
Sorry,
literally.
who was trying to resuscitate? Was
Other
it family
members, yeah, other family members were trying to resuscitate her. I was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "What are you doing?" You know, this wasn't supposed to happen like this. So that was very, very bad, very, very bad. And again, everyone's crying. You know, everyone calmed down by then. You accepted what happened. But at this point, you know, I still wasn't crying. I wasn't upset. It was just all numb.
And the children, and how did the children at that point take to that, or were they not in the home?
No, so this was at 11:30 at night. So they're in bed. We kind of like knew this was going to happen. So we said, all right, kids, say good night to mummy, you know, give her a kiss. And then, you know, they went up 11:30 at night, and that's when she passed away. And then obviously having the experience in the funeral industry, I knew what to do. So I called the funeral directors, you know, friends of mine, and I said, look, Manny, I need you to come to the house. This is like 1:30 at night, in the morning. I said, look, you know, my wife's passed away. He's like, you what? I said, yeah, she's passed away. I need you guys to come and get her. He's like, he literally didn't know what to say. Obviously, I'd woken him up. And then, yeah, they came an hour or so later. But just, you know, it's a very, very weird, surreal feeling. And I remember my mum tapping me on the shoulder saying, why don't you cry, let it out? I said, I can't. I said, I genuinely, I can't do it. I think because at that time I'm so strong-minded. I've been practicing mental toughness for years, and it really paid off, you know, at that time.
Do you think it
Really
was more to do with being strong for the children, being strong for yourself, or was that a pact that you had with your ex-wife of, look, when this happens, you know, I will deal with it how I deal with it, I guess, because we do naturally go into what they call a stress mode or almost denial because it became your norm of what was going on?
I don't think it was being strong for myself or for the kids. It was trying to hold it together for everybody else.
Yeah.
Because to the run up, but when she passed away, people around me were like really breaking. They were, crying. So I thought, I've got to be strong for them. I've got to be really strong for them. And yeah, so they came. They took her. And I remember the kids coming down. I could hear, Naveen coming down. It was about 9:00, 9:30 in the morning. I said, look, Mummy's gone now. And then I said, she burst into tears, ran upstairs. And then my middle one, Avani, came. And then I told her. And then she was just like, so where's Mummy gone? And I said, oh, Mummy's gone to Barbara's in the sky. And she said, how did she go? I said, well, Bobby said, go on, Mummy, it's time for you to go now, but say goodnight to the kids. And then she just flew. And then we sat in the other room, she put the telly on, and she said, oh, can I FaceTime Mummy? I said, look, Mummy's left her phone there, and it's literally right there on the mantelpiece. And again, I hugged her, and then I burst into tears. And then we've got this little man here, and then he was obviously 3 years old, told him. But what he was doing, he was looking out the window in the sky like this, expected her to come back. And then he's like, oh, the doctor's fixing her. Is that why, she's not here? And then I remember it was like Diwali, fireworks, and he goes, oh, and then he got upset because, oh, Mummy's in the sky. The fireworks the rockets might hurt her. So they were, yeah. But just before, yeah.
Oh, sorry. I don't know if it's your reception. Can you see me okay? You're just a bit fuzzy on my side.
Oh, no, I can see you okay.
Yeah. Guys, can you at home, those that are watching in, great to have so many of you on. Just let us know. Can you see me and Raj okay? He's fuzzy for me. I don't know how he is for you guys. Maybe because I'm in a different room. I think we can still hear you.
Okay.
That's fine.
But, yeah, so
it's fuzzy.
It's still fuzzy.
Yeah, bad reception. It's blurry. Raj is fuzzy.
Oh,
thank you, Indy. I'll give you a second just to see if you can come back into focus, because I do want to carry on.
Yeah.
I'll read out some of the comments. So inspiring, Raj. Fuzzy, blurry. We had some amazing comments. Guys, I'd love to know, if there's anyone that's got questions. Will this be saved? Yes, we're hoping to put it onto RGTV. Just saying that audio is a bit off and on. Okay. I can see Raj, but he's very blurred. You have gone just blurred for me. Sorry.
Oh, really? I'm down to 1 bar for some reason. Yeah.
Nim was beautiful inside out from Bell 2801. Nice to have you guys on. I'd love to know if, those of you watching, how many are friends and family of Nim's. We got you back, Raj.
Oh, literally, I've stood up.
It's all right. Just gave me a moment or two to sort myself out as well. Maybe Raj can leave and come back in. No, you're fine. You're absolutely fine. I can see you now. It's clear. Yay.
But yeah, so it was just like with Vera, he just couldn't understand, he was just like, when's Mummy coming back? Because he was so used to the nurses and doctors coming home in and out. And it was just, he just couldn't understand. So I remember doing food shopping, and he was sat in the back. I remember he like looked in the window in the sky. I was looking in the rearview mirror, and he was saying, I love you, Mummy. Wish you would come back. And I was like, it's just, that was for about 38 days in a row. He just kept asking about her. He just kept asking about her. Yeah, that was a very tough time. Very, very tough time. But yeah.
Every day your comment was the same, or was it just variation of?
Yeah, Viren's comments.
Yeah, Viren's comments.
Yeah. It's that. Then you'd explain to him, and then he was like, "Okay, I haven't seen Mummy for a month now." So it's just, it was heartbreaking, absolutely heartbreaking. Dropping and doing the school run, who's only in 3 hours a day because in nursery then.
Mm.
And like the other kids, like even the parents, because what had happened at 11:30 at night, and about 4:30 in the morning, I was getting text messages, from friends and family saying, "I'm really sorry to hear what's happened." And the school on that morning wrote letters to everyone saying, "Look, this is what's happened. Do not approach the family in any way. Give them respect and space." And again, I didn't expect any of that, so it was quite weird. Yeah, it was
We've
very
got
weird.
so many amazing comments coming in about Nim. Nim was a beautiful person from Jasmine de Sakone. Nim was an amazing soul, Similota. Nim was incredible, utterly inspiring. And the comments just keep coming in. So she did touch so many hearts, clearly, so many people joining on tonight. So,
Yeah,
yeah, sorry, go on, Faji.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, like her background, she was a lawyer, and then her passion was hair and makeup. And I said, do it. Life is short. Just do hair and makeup. And she was like, oh, no, I can't. My granddad with he wanted me, my family wanted me to, be law. They spent all this money on, going to university and
As you do.
everything. I said, listen, don't worry about that. I said, look, life is short. Do what makes you happy. And I remember, and that's what she did. So how she fell into it is that we got married 3 months after she got made redundant. And then she fell pregnant the year after. And then she said, look, no one's going to give me a job. So I said, like, do the end of it. Yeah, don't worry. I'll look after us. I
Yeah.
remember £12,400 a year salary. I'm like, God, how am I going to do that? And yeah, so she never worked for anyone since then. Then she set up a hair and makeup business. Literally, she did so well. And all these ladies are commenting, look, she was so good, very artistic. She was really, really good. But
Wow.
the one thing where she was told she had a year left to live, 6 weeks left to live, you're going home to die. She never cried. Where she cried was reality hit her when she realised she could never do hair and makeup again. So I remember we were in hospital in
Yeah.
Coventry. She got a phone. I was sat at the edge of the bed. She threw the phone at me, threw the door at me, and she said, look, just cancel everything. And that is when she started crying. Because this was her passion. She was absolutely passionate about it. And you ask, her clients how good she was, how quick she was, how much passion she had. This is why I don't have any regrets. Like, she passed away at 34. None of us had that control. We couldn't do anything about it. But she used up every single bit of potential that she had. People say, yeah, she's 34. What a waste of life. She had all that years ahead of her. I said, yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But
I don't believe
she,
that. She lived the life she wanted to live.
yeah, she used to come home exhausted at 1 o'clock in the morning starts, come home at 6 in the evening. She goes, do you know what? I love my life, man. I'll get to work part-time Thursday, Friday, sometimes on a Sunday morning, and spend the time with the kids. She goes, I love my life. And I got to see that because obviously, I lived with her. So this is why I'm saying, do you know what? This was your time. This was your time.
And do you know what, Bud? You remind me, we all live in this someday, one day, right? We never realise we've only got now. Ajia aj. There's no tomorrow.
Exactly.
There's no
No,
tomorrow. It's
exactly.
not
Yeah.
guaranteed.
This is why, we set the alarm clock for tomorrow morning and hope that we're going to wake up. But the one thing, we are all stood in a line. We're all in a queue. We could have a 2-year-old in front of us, a 79-year-old behind us. We don't know who's in front, who's behind, and we don't know how
Yeah.
far we are, to the edge. But
Yeah.
we're all going to go. We're all in a queue. And this is why, like you said, it's all about today.
And I found that's one of the things I think that has kept me following Inspiring Sing, because every morning, I am so in awe of what's today's quote going to be, what's today's passage going to be out of the book. And I've got to ask you about that book as well, and I will do so, because I know you've been sharing your gratitude journals, and that's probably what's had me every now and again check in on you. And again, Pink Ledoux posted up another story, and again I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to reach out this time. And I took that opportunity last week and just said, I am over the moon of how life has evolved for you. So yeah, you know, in your own words, what was life a little bit, you know, share, just sort of getting life back on track again, if that makes sense.
So again, I was so mentally tough, really tough. So I got through everything. I took it day by day, doing the school runs. But there were times when it would hit me. For example, the Bali hit me then. Christmas was very, very hard for me that time. I remember going to my cousin's house because we normally have Christmas at home with the kids. I thought, I can't really cook Christmas dinner, you know. So I went to my cousin's. We had a good time there. And I remember going home, waking up Boxing Day morning, and what we've all got is a handprint of Nim's handprint, so it's all framed. And I remember waking up that next to me on the pillow and I felt really lonely. So what I used to do, I used to have my clothes put on the edge of the bed. So at night time when I used to turn over, it used to be weighted, like there was somebody there.
Oh.
So, and that's how I woke up. And I thought, it's very low. I need that companion, you know, someone to talk to. I miss having the conversations. Someone asking me, how are you? How's your day? I used to get Naveen, who was 9 years old at the time, saying, Naveen, you know, when I come home, ask me, how's your day? You know, Dad, have you hit your targets? Have you hit your goals? You know, just hold me accountable.
Wow.
And I had to tell my 9-year-old to do that. And this is why some people don't understand, and you won't understand. I hope you never understand what it's like to be in my shoes.
We take it for granted, the relationships we have in our home. It doesn't matter who we live with. And for 30 seconds to be stopped and asked, how are you? And some of us snap back and we don't realize in that moment, because we haven't quite switched off from work, or there's something that we haven't dealt with that person. And we can be so ignorant and just take it for granted. And yet the relationships that are with us here and now are so, so important. I know each of you that are listening, I'd love to know, like, you know, who's the first person you come home, or maybe you don't come home, obviously we're all in home, but who's that first person that you turn to ask, how's your day? You know, whether it's your kids or your partner, I'd love to know, you know, who are you asking at this moment, how's your day? So, Baji, so please, continue. So you had 9-year-old asking you that question.
Yeah. And then again, like New Year's Eve, then it's my birthday, you know, in January. So it was like, you know, Nim would do everything: cake, get the presents, you know, to give to the kids, to give to me, and all that had gone. I'm like, it doesn't mean anything to me anymore. You know, what's the point? But what we did, if I rewind, so Nim passed on the 19th of September. Her funeral was on the 27th of September, and she would have been 35 on the 29th of September. So obviously the tradition is, no, we don't do anything. We mourned. I was like, screw that. I was going to use another word, but I thought, well, I can't. I said, forget that. Well, I'm going to celebrate it. So we celebrated the 35th birthday. Got all the family to come round. I said, everyone bring a dish each. You know, let's really celebrate her life. So we all got T-shirts made, you know, and then my friend bought a drone. So we had like a massive family picture, you know. It's really good, really, really amazing. And Naveen still talks about it till this day. She goes, do you know what, Daddy? I had such a good time on Mummy's birthday. Really good time. And that's what it's all about. It's about creating those memories, you know. And it's when it came to my birthday, I thought, you know, what's the point? Then we got Valentine's Day. And then we've got, you know, Easter. Then we've got everything, you know. I thought, forget it. But then I thought I have to do it for the kids.
Yeah,
Really have to do it for the kids.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's so hard because even now with Valentine's coming up, some of us become so defiant, make it so significant and heavy, you know, and I appreciate it. You know, yeah, you know, I've been through those occasions where there's been someone amazing in my life, but it's still, you got to put it into perspective. It is a day and you either celebrate it or you create something. And we need, you know, so many of us have been conditioned to, that's all we do on those days is, yeah, we've got to think about that person, but it's thinking about them for the better, you know, and for what they did bring to your life.
Absolutely. And this is why, you know, when I said about I don't have any regrets for what she did and what she didn't do, because she did all she could, you know. But where it really, really, really hit me is when my in-laws took the kids to Spain. So the kids came out a week before school, and they took them to Spain. And I was like, this is great. I've got no children. So I booked my week out with full of meetings, up and down the country in the car. Well, this is great. They came back from Spain. So I've gone from having no children to having 3 kids for the summer holidays. That is when grief hit me, and it just went down. You know, anxiety, panic attacks, mental health issues really, really, really hit me. So it's just been in waves, up and down, up and down. So, you know, I'm thinking I'm this big, strong guy, mental toughness, nothing can, you know, hurt me or do anything like that, to game for someone who's sitting in the corner of his room on the floor, you know, crying. Thinking, what's going on? But again, I hid all of this. Nobody knew about this. Nobody knew about this, because being Asian male, the right thing is you don't share stuff like that, because it makes you weak. You know, it makes you really, really weak.
Well, I think people don't understand the term, what I call vulnerable. You know?
Yeah.
And vulnerable doesn't mean you're weak. Vulnerable means you're strong enough to share what's truly there. And
Yeah.
we misinterpret that word when we see someone upset. We don't know how to grieve for them. We don't know how to support them, you know.
Yeah.
And often, you know, and I've done it, sometimes you don't mean to. You say something insensitive, you think you're helping.
Yeah.
And we've all done it, you know, that we've said supposed to support the person, and we end up saying the wrong thing. But I always say it's about the person's intention. If it's coming from the right place, you know, the person will know, you know.
Yeah.
But as you say, Body, like, that still probably accounts for a lot of men now, Asian or non-Asian, that, you know, you don't talk about your problems enough, almost.
Yeah, they don't. And what they do, they turn to drink. And I know quite a few friends that have done this. I know quite a few clients where they've said, you know, because I obviously specialise in will writing for upbringing community, and it's like, I want to give everything to my daughter, not my son, because he's an alcoholic, can't be trusted. It's always to the drink. But Nim left me knowing that I'll be able to look after the kids. So this is why I've never turned to drink. You know, it's the problem's still there. Nothing. It's not going to bring her back. And the kids have seen Nim on a deathbed on the bed. You know, and I thought, do they really want to see their father hungover, you know, on the sofa? But no, I ain't going to do that. My kids deserve more than that, a lot more than that. So this is why I've never turned to, you know, to drink. I thought that the best way is to, now I know, to talk about it. I do a lot of mental toughness training by watching YouTube videos. I do a lot of reading and do a lot of audiobooks. These and exercise.
Yeah.
You know, these are the things that have got me through it.
Yeah. And how have the kids been? How have they, do you think they've developed sort of coping mechanisms, or, you know, did you notice that when you were sat there at times when you could tell they're saddened, or they're not quite themselves? Obviously that's natural as well, of course.
Yeah, of course. So like, all 3 were different. So with Viren, again, he was too young. He didn't really understand. With Naveen, she would be very quiet at school, but then she'd be quite open at home. She would say, I really miss mummy. Then she would break down at times, which was good, because then I know how she was feeling. With Avani, she was very quiet. She wouldn't say anything. Whereas at school, she would draw pictures, she would make memory boxes, trinkets, she would do everything at school. She still wouldn't say anything. But even now, she's a bit quiet, whereas she was like with homeschooling, which is a bloody nightmare. Yeah.
I imagine there's a lot of parents hitting like on that one, or maybe commenting. So no, there you go. It's lighting up now. Hi, Avnish, by the way. I just wanted to acknowledge a few people. Hi, Jasmine. Feel free to acknowledge anyone that you want to, guys, as well along the way. Sorry, you're saying homeschooling and your middle one.
So last week she was given homework from school to write something about someone that you appreciate, or that you significant. And Avani wrote a letter to mummy, and then Viren did a picture about mummy as well. And this is how they deal with it. This is how they deal with it. They're not always going to talk about it,
Yeah.
but what I have always done is I will show them videos of Nim or show them photos of Nim, because when somebody passes away, that's all that's left is the memories, photos, and videos. You know, that's all that's left. And so this is what I've always done. And so this, but the one great thing is that Parm, she does that as well. She literally, she does that as well. And then that, you know, she'll show videos of Nim to Viren. She'll say, okay, why don't we write a letter, you know, to Mommy, and we've got pictures of like Nim, you know, around the house.
Well, I'm going to invite Nim into this conversation because I feel like she's been there, bless her, for 45 minutes waiting for her to join us.
Yeah.
Nim, Parm, sorry. Sorry, apologies. Parm, yeah, what's it? So first of all, share with us like a little bit about your journey. I'm conscious of time, but you know, please do share a little bit of your journey and then how you met Raj. Like, did you know each other from previous? Are you friends of family? I'm sure everyone's curious. So
so I'm a divorcee. I've got 3 girls, and I was just trying to sort out my affairs. So I actually saw an Insta post that one of my friends had put up about Raj, about being a will writer. And I was like, I need to do my will, you know. So I reached out to him. I was like, hi, you're a will writer, just finalizing through my divorce, and I really need a will done. You know, what do I need to do? So got in touch with him with that. And then I only started following him from that point. Then I started looking through his stories, and one story really stood out to me, and it was him about wanting to take his kids on holiday or actually anywhere. And he's like, how do I do it by myself? What do I do when one of them needs to go to the bathroom? Do I take all of them? Do I trust that the 2 girls will be okay? Or do I have them standing outside the gents? Do I ask to use the disabled toilet? And I just, that, you know, it hit home with me because it's the kind of thing that I go through, but we were all girls. So I used to just drag all my girls, you know, together. And then I remember saying to him, if you ever want to go anywhere, we can take the kids together. You know, I can take the girls to the loo. And then, yeah, so then we met up to do my will. And then we just had so much common ground in terms of how we think and how we deal with things. And for me, I'm very much like, we deal with what's before us. You know, if whatever comes along your path, that is what we're dealing with. And I've tried to, you know, sort of implement that and cement that into my kids as well, to say, look, we don't sit around crying and moping about something. If this is the issue, let's see how we figure this out. And a few years ago, one of the things that I did was I really wanted to raise money for charity. And I signed up to do a boxing fight. So I thought, right, the thing we fear most is actually fear itself, because we don't know what's going to come with this fear. And fear for me, it's all up here. So I'm like, what would I fear most? I'd probably fear getting hit in the face the most, you know. So I was like, right, I said to the girls, right, I've signed up to this. It was actually my sister. I have to give a shout out to my sister. She pushed me to do it. She's like, why wait until next year? Let's sign up now, do it now. And I was like, but we've got a wedding coming up in the family, and you know, my punch and training. And she's like, so what? MAC makeup is really good, it can cover it. Just sign up and do it now. And then it was like, do you know what, your time is now. You know, you really want to do something, sign up, do it today, put yourself out there, push past boundaries, be the strongest you can be. You know, what is there to fear? There is nothing to fear in this life. What's going to come is going to come. And for me, I remember when I was going through divorce, and my dad turned and said to me, "Tu to rondi vi nahi, you don't even cry. Are you that strong?" And I said, "This is how you built me." I said, what is there to cry about? Somebody made the conscious decision to leave my life. I'm not going to drag them back into it. I respect that. They made that decision, and now I deal with it, you know? And I went through a period, I did 3 jobs just to maintain the bills, and, you know, and I thought that's something else. First, I tried to hide it from my children. Then I was like, no, I'm going to show them. I'm going to tell them I'm putting you guys to bed, and then I've got back-to-back facials for 3 hours until midnight, so that, we've got food on the table, I can pay for bills. Obviously, I had family that wanted to support and help, but I was just adamant, no, I've always relied on someone. Now is my time.
Was it ever a decision, though, like you say, that divorced, 3 children, and then, I don't know the ages, I'm sure you'll share with us the ages, and was there ever a decision of, I better go home to mum and dad? Because listen, that was one of the things I had to overcome, of going, actually, being single, didn't have children, I could have gone out to a flat, but for me there was a different decision. I went, those the people that know me know, and I thought, I have no other reason to go and live anywhere, I've got no challenge to. So that was just a natural decision that I took. But I can imagine when you've got kids, you want to create a home for them, right?
Yeah. And for me, it was, the kids, they had their routine in place. They were in a school. The school were very supportive. They were really, really good to us. And I thought, I can't uproot them. They've already had someone leave. I don't want to change, their whole lifestyle all of a sudden. And, my mum and dad were like, why don't you come home? And I said, no. If you want to see the kids, you want to have them help out, that's fine. But we're going to stay here. I'm going to make it work, because do you know what? God's chosen me to go through this. So for me, I was like, that is how I'm going to deal with it. God chose me because he thought I was strong enough to deal with this. There's a reason behind all of this. And I always say that to people, whatever challenges you're overcoming in life, allow them, welcome the challenges. Because if you don't get through those, you won't get to the good parts.
100%. I always say this to clients as well, that, you were handed the challenge because God knows you can handle it. You were not picked because you were the weakest. You were picked because you are the strongest.
Yeah.
And there is no way, you would face something not knowing you can overcome it. And as you said, it's first a mind game to get over that fear. Can I do it? Can I do it?
Yeah.
Once you've made up your mind, fear doesn't exist. That's it.
One of the first deepest conversations that I had with Raj's eldest, Naveen, was
so it wasn't with me then?
It wasn't with you.
Oh.
One of the first deep conversations I had with her, I said, Mummy's passing is going to be your strength. There's more to Mummy's passing than Mummy just leaving your family. We're going to make sure she becomes the strongest thing within you. So when you share your story, and I said, I promise you, as you grow up, to share this story, you're going to inspire so many people, and people will relate to it because they would have been through something similar, but not a lot of people know how to share it. So we talk about these things quite openly.
Oh, I just love the way he's just...
He has got so much love, this one, haven't you?
He's a little shadow.
I was gonna say, is he your little boy now? Oh.
He was, earlier today, he was like, can I just be in your jumper?
Bless him. You all right, Viren? Want to say hello?
But yeah, one of the things that we do, all the kids, Nim was really creative. I'm one of these half-hearted creative people. I'm very creative up here. I'm not very good at getting out, but I try my best. So I was like, she was really good at sewing. So one day I was like, right, okay, do you know what? I've got some old suit fabric. Let's get the sewing machine out. And I get my girls involved as well. I said, look, Mummy had a legacy, she left behind a legacy. So we've said to all the girls, if hair and makeup is something that you're interested in, once you're 16, go on a course, do it. We give them makeup to play around with at home, just at home. And, because I want Nim to still be a part of this family. One of the things that I always say to them is, nobody is replacing anybody here. I'm not here to replace, I'm here as well as. And that's really important to me. Otherwise I wouldn't be here. And this dynamic that we've got, it wouldn't work.
I just really, really acknowledge you for that, because I knew this from the conversation that we had about a week ago, that you blew me away with that comment, that I'm not here to take over, I'm not here to replace anyone, but I'm here as myself, as part of your journey, part of your life. And that is just so, so, so beautiful. There's probably so many women right now, I'm a fellow divorcee, have got no children, and then there's so many out there that are probably single parents that are divorced and probably really, how do I put it, deeply stuck with, you don't know what my life was like. You know, it's really hard to meet someone. I hear it all the time, obviously the profession I'm in. It's one of the biggest challenges. And what would you say, because I know I'll come on to share about your I want you guys to reveal that, but what would you say to women or that are in that mindset right now thinking, this is it, this is as good as my life's going to get?
Yeah, firstly, I'd say build yourself up to the stage where you love yourself, because I realized I didn't know who I was. I was living in the shadows of other people, and I always had this ideology of being married and being a wife, but I wasn't doing it for myself. I didn't know who I was. I had no identity. Know who you are, love who you are, because only then people will see who you are. And yeah, and see that within you, and you feel it more when others see it within you. And for me, I was like, why should I be alone? I was lonely and alone in a marriage. Why should I be lonely and alone by myself too? Because at the end of the day, the kids will grow up and they'll do their own thing, and I don't want them to feel like they had to carry me through their lives. And one of the things that I do, and Rod's quite similar as well, is that the things that we do today, we try to fast forward 10 years. So 10 years from now, what will the kids look back and think about? Because in 10 years from now, we want the kids to think, do you know what, these two, they did a pretty decent job on us, you know, to give them the attention, the support, you know, the love, the things that they need, holidays, trips, you know. We try to do one-on-one time. So, you know, when kids go to their grandparents and things, try and keep one or two of them back to spend a bit of time with them.
Yeah.
So, you know, they don't feel like anyone's lost or left behind. So I'd say, you know, step out of that stereotype. You know, the people that are bringing you down, do you know what? Let them drop off.
Yeah,
I mean, people are good people.
Yeah, people are going to say what they're going to say. And look, I know many of you are now sort of, I can see the comments going off again, you know, inspiring words, so empowering, don't know how to love myself. Well, you know, that's why you're here with me. That's why I'm doing this interview, to share with you that it does take going on a journey to discover who you are before you can decide who it is you want in your life. And you only attract based at where you're at, and that says a lot about you too, of your, how do I put it, your level of not just maturity, but your level of comfortness to do things in life for your kids. So I agree, because I don't know if Instagram's going to off in 5 minutes or if we're okay to go. You know, we've got well over 300 people, and if you guys want to stay on, then keep typing yes, so we know that we can do part 2 straight away if you guys have got time, unless you've got kids to put to bed. But yeah, I don't know.
Written manifest, baby, yeah, wanderlust. Definitely, it's all about manifesting your future, you know, manifesting what you want in life, attracting, laws of attraction. I fully believe in that. You know, what you want in life, you know, you attract it. So if you're always thinking very low level, very negative, that is where you're living, and that is where you'll stay.
Well, you stay in the, how do I put it, the drama of where you're at, whether you're divorced or single or with your kids. Whatever you think, that's what you do every day, unless you choose to break the cycle. Sorry, Baji, you were going to say something.
Oh, no, I wasn't. I was just saying my elder Bean, she's like watching it. She just gave a thumbs up.
Oh! You can come and say hello, Naveen. All the kids can come and say hello if they want to. People are but this, but this manifestation, you know, it definitely works, and it's about what we've been through quite a lot, and just sharing that openly with the children, and it makes them stronger for when they're adults. And there's one thing which I said, which we both say, is if you've got any issues, if you've got any problems, the first conversation is about sharing that problem. Second conversation is going to be about having a solution to that problem. It's not going to be about going over the same old thing. No, because it's not going to get you anywhere. Exactly. Yeah, we've shared the problem, we've told, and then the second one's going to be about a solution. Right, let's put a plan in place. What we're going to do. Yeah.
Whatever it is that's happened. Sorry. Yeah. Whatever it is that's happened, it's just a story. Remember that. It doesn't define you. It's just a story. You know, 100%. And I would always say, pull out the fact, if you're in a really low place, and I've said this to quite a lot of people, it's good to be in a low place, because that is when actually you can be inspired the most. Because being in a low place, you can only look up, right?
Absolutely.
And then you can actually just pick, you know, the basic things out of your life. You know, you've been given a clean slate. You know, when my ex left, I was like, right, now, okay, this is me. I'm a mum of 3, so I know my duties as a mother. I know what I have to do. What do I do for myself? How do I get myself, you know, back into shape? How do I have more energy? How do I not just want to be asleep all the time? And, you know, what do I do for myself? Right, okay, you know, start meeting with friends that are like-minded, and the energy starts to flow, and you just feel empowered, you know, and then you think, you know what, I can do anything. Yeah.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask you both, do you feel that, and no, go on, you share, how put it out there, just tell everybody the story. How did you guys decide that this is it, this is your new family, this is your new way of life?
So none of this was planned. Absolutely none of this was planned. So we've literally just gone with the flow. So it's basically we're all living together, and it's a temporary accommodation that we live in, because, you know, there's 8 of us, you know. So where I lived before, like with the kids and Nim, that's big enough for all of us. But Parm says she doesn't want to move into the house because that's Nim's house. She doesn't want to replace any memories, which I thought, which is fair enough. So we're living in Leamington, temporary accommodation. So it's a bit of a squeeze, but we are obviously looking for a bigger house, which we will move into, you know, once we find it. But it's just whatever felt right. But none of this was planned. It was like, okay, so I'll move to Leamington, I'll get a house, and we'll probably meet maybe once or twice a week and so on. But the kids hit it off straight away.
Yeah.
Literally, you know.
The kids were like, can we sleep over? And we were doing, like, making beds, doing bisteray on the floor in the lounge.
Aww.
And then I was like, it's a bit much doing this every single day, moving the dining table, making the space. And I'd set up the bedrooms, like, for my 3 girls, and then we rejigged the bedrooms, so then there was 2 to a room. And do you know what, they all just gelled themselves, like the older 2, the middle 2, and the younger 2. They just made up their own pairs. They mix really well as well. So, they swap partners, and, you know.
So the eldest is 14. Then we've got Naveen, Aisha 14, Naveen 11, Rukmini 10, Naveen 7. Avani 7, Sophia 7. Then we've got Viren 5.
Oh, there's some amazing questions coming in, which I'll let you read and choose which one you want to answer.
Do you want to go through? Because
I was breathing every now and then.
Yeah, we've got some, wow, how lovely couple, amazing kids, so inspiring, you both look happy, you're looking so cute, and lovely family. So you guys are amazing to keep asking, so please do keep sharing and showing some love. So you guys came together, which way would you describe it? More through love, or would you say more through the love of your children bonding together?
Do you know what, I think the love between us and the children is as strong as one another's. I think they cemented it for us, because neither of us would have done this without the kids' blessing, so to speak. So, you know, we took them out a few times to the park. Sometimes I even had my sister's little girl with me as well. So the 2 of us out with 7 children. Looked great. And I remember he used to say, 6 kids, like, how are we going to do this? And now, so my kids went to their dad's just before Christmas. He then tested positive for COVID. They were there for 10 days for Christmas. And it just felt, we were all just sat around the dinner table one day, just looking at the empty chairs. And we're like, this feels weird. This doesn't feel right. We're so used to all of us being together now, you know. And I think COVID and lockdown, the positive that's come out of that has been, we've been able to spend this extra time this bonus time together.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we wouldn't have found that time to be in each other's
Right.
pockets and to get to know each other.
There's so many questions coming in. I'm going to start doing quick fire round with you. So the first one, are you guys married yet?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yes, people, they're an Indian brown couple that are living together, that have children, that are not the children between
With
them.
the blessing of our parents.
Yeah.
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 I love the way Karen had to get that one in there.
Yeah, put that in there.
I'm a changi kudi.
Yeah.
Next one, let's have a look. Just keep going through them. How did your in-laws take to it?
Not very well. Yeah, let's just say not very well at all. But my duty is to make sure that my kids still have that relationship with them, because they are their grandparents, they are their Marcia, Mama at the end of the day. So whether anybody wants a relationship with me, you know what, it doesn't matter. But it's about the kids' happiness, and that's the main thing.
Cool. Guys, somebody said these are such personal questions. Just to assure you, go on, Raj, Parm, you can tell them. I have been given blessing to ask any question that's been posed. So, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'll ask away. So, yeah, got nothing to hide.
This is what authenticity and being vulnerable looks like. You know, this is true authentic self.
That's it.
I've got another question. How do the kids address you? By name? I think that's to both of you.
Yeah, from day one, I said, hi, my name's Parm, and he's like, hi, my name's Raj. And for months and months, my kids could not say his name. They just felt, I think, really bizarre. This one loves it. Parm, 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 Parm. Don't think I've ever heard my name so many times.
Maybe.
And my younger one now, she loves. Raj said, is Raj coming? Raj, blah, blah. But the older two, they still don't. My middle one made a joke. She started calling him SD, like stepdad. So we just sort of said, stick to names. And if they come up with their own name for us at some stage, that's fine. But it's not, I'm not going to impose anything upon them. It's their choice.
So I've got two more questions coming in. I don't mind who answers them. So the first one, Raj, is probably towards you. Did you ever discuss with Nim about remarrying or having another partner?
Yeah, so this is where it got a bit difficult, to be honest. I remember she was a bit upset, and I went into the room and I said, "What's wrong?" And by this time, she knew that she was very ill. You know, she was going to die basically. And she said to me, promising one thing is that you'll never remarry again. I said, yeah, I promise, you know. And then again, you know, I had clients tell me, you know, I had family members say to me, like, you're young. Even people from like the in-law side of the family saying, you know, you're very young, so maybe you should settle down. The kids need someone. You need someone. I said, no, definitely not. And then it just happened. It just met Parm. And the thing is, Nim, at that time, she was emotional. She couldn't really see or want anybody else coming to take over her position as a mom.
Yeah.
You know? But again, nobody has come in to take over as a mom. No one's going to replace Nim. No one ever can.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, it's about, would she want me and the kids to be happy? And I think the answer to that question is yes. So,
yeah,
that's your question.
I mean, it's a difficult one, and I know I've certainly met plenty of lovely gentlemen, and the first thing they kind of, you know, find difficult is, will you take on my kids, or vice versa. You hear so many women say, you know, I have kids and he won't take them on, you know, he's a lovely man and what have you. So was there ever a point where you thought, oh my God, I've got 3 of mine and now I'm doubling up? Did either of you sort of, you know, think of it like that at any point?
No, I was 5 years old and I remember my teacher saying, what do you want to be when you're older? And I was like, I want to be a mummy. I want to be a mummy. And the whole class laughed at me and I didn't understand it. I'm one of 4 and I have a lot of Marcia, mummy, so many cousins, and my mum was one of these that used to pile everyone up in the car and bring them over at the weekend. So, you know, I think God was preparing me my whole life, you know.
Oh,
So,
you know, like in terms of me, you know, I was like, nah, you know what? She got 3 kids, I've got 3. You know, it's going to be a lot of raunak around the dinner table, breakfast time, and so on.
yeah.
But there were times when we were literally like transitioning everything together, and I thought, oh man, how are we going to do this? 6 children, you know, she's got a 7-seater car, I've got a 7-seater car. We're still going to have to take 2 cars, you know. And, and I don't want like a big, you know, station wagon. Yeah, I don't want anything like that. So it was just these little things, a bigger house. But as we got into a routine, obviously lockdown didn't help. But as we got into a routine, it got easier and easier. But now I think it's great.
And has that worked to your advantage? There's lots of questions being asked around people that were bad mouthing you, gossiping, and you know, I suspect you've had 1 or 2 family or friend members that may have unfriended you or said something. Have you had some of that going on?
Yeah, so I remember posting a picture of us and like a family photo from my birthday last week. Put it on Insta. Again, so much love from the Insta family. But then I've got an account where you can see the stats and everything. And then literally when that picture went up, 14 people unfollowed me. And then Pink Luddu put that article out. Again, I didn't ask them to do anything. They just said, I hope you don't mind me sharing it. I read it. I was like, that's cool, not a problem. On their Facebook page, there were a couple of trolls. And they were saying really, really bad things, you know, really trying to get a reaction. But there were other people that jumped to my defense saying, you know, you don't know what he's been through, you don't know him, and so on. But I'm like, do you know what? You come and stand in front of me, and I dare you to say that to my face. Guarantee you won't say anything.
Yeah,
Nothing to do with the fact that I'm, you know, 6'3", 6'4". There's nothing to do with that. It's a guarantee. These are the trolls behind the keyboard. You take all of that away, they're nothing. You know, I've been through so much, you know, in my life where a couple of people behind the screen, it's not going to do anything to me.
Yeah.
Now,
I know, Baji, or Parm, you've met Raj's family. What was that like? You know, did you have a love marriage before? You know, was it easy or was it a bit nerve-wracking?
I had a typically Indian arranged marriage. My dad was like, you'll get to meet him twice, call him 3 times, then you're getting married. And we did actually get to see each other a bit more than that. But for me, I was brought up in a very traditional way. You know, I was the eldest, so, you know, I had younger siblings to take care of as well. And it was pretty much school, college, university, get married, finished uni in July, my wedding booked for October. And for me, that was the norm. That was fine. Yeah. But, you know, nothing lasts forever. So people say, do you have any regrets? If you went back, would you change it? No, because 100% no, 100% I would do it again. Why? Because otherwise I wouldn't have my 3 daughters. I wouldn't be sat here today. Wouldn't have met Raj. Wouldn't have had these beautiful kids in my life. So I wouldn't change a single thing. So long as it all worked out this way.
Yeah, I was going to say, listen, I mean, many of you that are listening in, this is what I always turn around and say. If right now you think life is tough and hard, just know it's preparing you for a better tomorrow. You just don't know it. All right? Better. You don't know why you're having to tread the thorns you're treading, right? When we make decisions, I made a wrong decision at one point in life. And 7 years ago, I didn't know what I'd be doing 7 years on right now. Be sat here talking to 2 amazing people and, you know, making a difference to so many people in life. But this is the thing. We don't know why we're here yet. And unless you go on the journey to discover your passion, your purpose, when you're aligned, and this is what I truly believe, when you are aligned, and as Baji was saying right at the beginning, that's when you will be thankful of, my life works. I'm in love with my life. And if right now there's an area of life or a relationship, that's you want to look at it. You know, don't settle for what you have. And it takes something to create the life that you truly, truly want to have. So now that you guys have come together, you're cohabiting, what's next? That wasn't from anybody else. That's me asking.
Yeah, so it's, you know what, we're just going to go with the flow, because that's what we have. We haven't planned anything, so we're going to go with the flow. House, you know, lockdown weddings where you can't really invite many people, so might take advantage of that.
As soon as they say 30 people, I'm like, so long as our kids are there and parents and siblings, I was like, so long as I say 30 people, we can do it, you know. But yeah,
And then obviously house,
yeah,
and so on. So yeah, things are going in the right direction. You know, it's all onwards and upwards, and we are very, very grateful, very blessed.
yeah.
Do you find that you two, and I've seen this before with other blended families, do you find you naturally get on because you're not, how do I put it, you're more appreciative of life? How do I put it politely? You've been around the block a bit more, say, and you know now what's important in life, especially when you've lost something, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. We appreciate absolutely everything, and this is why we practice gratitude with the children. So in the mornings we will say, okay, go around the table, name one thing what you're grateful for. We'll get them to write it on the board. You know, and this is why we do, like Parm does, gratitude with the children. So she's got the notebook where, you know, the kids are writing every day. Because we've been through, we've got to where we are today because we know what's helped us. We know the coping mechanisms. And definitely, without a doubt, gratitude works.
Yeah. Nim, sorry, I keep saying that to you. I'm so sorry. Parm, I see the quotes on your Instagram post, and they do inspire me, and I just wait for who's done it for today. Actually, it's not so much the quote, I want to see which one of them is it. And I saw Ria come up a few times, and I just, oh, so lovely. How has he adapted and changed as a character, having, you know, I can see obviously that he's adores you, he loves you. How was he before to how is he now? I know you posted about this as well, Raj.
Yeah, I remember, like, if we just go all the way back to the beginning. I mean,
this said, look, he doesn't want me anymore. He's like, yeah. He's like, yeah.
Oh, look at him.
You weren't supposed to hear that.
He does. Going back to the beginning, I remember saying to Raj, don't talk to the kids about me. Let me just come in and let me build my own relationship. You know, let them get to know me for who I am. I don't want them to learn about me through somebody else, albeit you. So let me spend time with them. Let them get to know me, and I get to know them. And he's my little sous chef in the kitchen, aren't you, V? You like to help me in the kitchen? And we've had a couple of weekends together, and that's where I think, because there's been no other children about, he's 100% been himself, and he's really opened up. And since then, I think our relationship has been much stronger. But you know, we speak to the other kids as well. I spoke to this one the other day, and we were just speaking about how lovely his relationship is with all of ours. And I'm just really grateful that none of them are actually jealous of one another. It's not, oh, that's not fair, or, oh, you know, oh, I want to be doing that. They actually appreciate it. And I think that's because we've really openly spoken about the loss of Nim and the impact of that on, you know, Raj and Nim's children. Yeah. And I remember even before mine met him, I'd explained the story to them. And my 7-year-old here, for weeks, she prayed to Nim every night, you know, and I pray for that mummy in heaven, you know, and the children.
Hey, sweetie. Oh.
You know, and I think we have to be open to these conversations, as awkward and difficult as they may seem, as emotional as they may be. Yeah. It's important for them. It's important for their growth. It was definitely important for us and the foundation of our relationship together.
Well, you guys really have opened up so many people's hearts right now. I just want to read one particular quote because it's just caught my eye. Guys, if you've got any more questions, we're going to try and wrap up in the next 5 minutes because I'm sure, you know, Parm and Raj have got kids to put to bed. And many of you probably also want to chill out and relax before bedtime. So I just picked out one. His name, if I'm saying it, forgive me correctly, Wicco, and you've said, I don't know you, Raj, but I just wanted to say what a brave man you are, and well done to bringing up your kids. And now you meet a lovely woman, and what a woman. Hats off to you. Have a blessed life. And I just think that is just awesome. Absolutely awesome. Lots of people are asking, how did you meet? Guys, you're going to have to watch watch it on replay. It's going to be my Instagram stories. Parm has already shared that. Was there a moment, and this is my probably last question to you, was there a moment when you thought, this is it?
Yeah.
This is it. As in, you know, it's now or never. Because like, did you know,
like, this is it, or like, no, this is it.
No. Sorry, as in, this is it in terms of a relationship, that we should do this, because most of us go into that, how do I put it, judgment, being scared. What if you know, a lot of parents that I hear from that say, you know, I've got to do it right for my kids, and most of the time it has nothing to do with the kids. It's they're scared for themselves, but they politely put the kids in front to sabotage.
That feeling you have, you'll project onto your kids. You'll project onto your kids automatically anyway. So I think we both learnt that in our, I say past life, but previously. So we both know it's what we put out there now, and it all just, everything just kind of fell into place, like timescales. I wasn't looking to move to Leamington closer to Raj just yet, and I remember speaking to my 14-year-old and my 10-year-old and said, you know, I'm thinking maybe next summer we move. Then my eldest was like, well, I go into, you know, year 9, I'm starting GCSEs. Do I really want to move school in year 10? What about my options? And then my middle one was like, oh, I'll be going into secondary school where I don't know anybody at all, and do I really want to do that? So it was actually because of the two of them that I moved it a year forward, and that we ended up moving to Leamington this summer so that they could start school. So Aisha could start in year 9, have her options here, and finish off her GCSEs in one school, and Rukmini could go to a primary school and get to know some children who she moves up with to secondary. And like Raj said earlier, it was meant to be, I move up here, we meet up, you know, once or twice a week. And yeah, before we knew it, everybody's bags were unpacked here, and you know.
Raj, what would you say to someone that's sort of grieving, and like you said, you know, I know you guys, as you say, you weren't looking to move on, but it was just fate and natural the way you came together through the kids. What would you say to someone that genuinely is sat there, that you're thinking, they think, you know, healing takes years? That's the word I want to use. And I'm not saying you'll ever, you know, like you've just been saying, Nim's legacy will live on. But what would you say to that someone that sat there going, you know, I can't believe he's got married so quickly or whatever? How would you, how would you approach somebody?
So, I mean, again, somebody did say this, you know, on Facebook. You don't know what that person is going through. You don't live their life, because there were there were times where I finished at the gym and I would drive on the way home, and what I would normally do is pick up the phone to them and say, okay, go Sainsbury's house, do you need anything? I thought, I can't do that anymore. There's so many lonely points. But again, it's not the case that I went out looking for someone. It was just Parm was given to me by whoever was put in my path. So don't force it, you know, because there will be people that'll be very unhappy for you. But don't forget, you literally get this one life. So just imagine if you're on your deathbed, you've got 6 months left to live, a year left to live. What are you going to do differently? Now, just put that thought in your head that, okay, you tell yourself, I've got 6 months left to live. Now you do what makes you happy. If you're very unhappy in your job, quit. I'm not saying I'm not saying go out and do it now, because times are very uncertain, but just put a plan together, because that's what Nim did. She quit her job as a solicitor and worked on hair and makeup full time. She had no regrets. So there will be people, there'll be the naysayers, but you know what? Ignore it, because I know I'm doing the right thing, because I can see the smiles and I can feel the love of all the children, all the people around me.
Brilliant. Sorry, there's a few questions coming in, and I'm just going to quickly try and see if I can find them. Gurj, can you answer Bharvi and Jessel's question? It's a great one for Parm. I haven't seen it. Did you get any backlash from your side of the in-laws and family?
No, I've been very lucky, actually. That's one thing we've said, like the girl's dad. I told him about Raj and he was quite happy for it, and he doesn't really get involved in my life. So the only relationship I have with him is anything to do with the girls when they go over, things like that. So I've been lucky in that sense. And
Parm, for you, like, what advice would you give, you know, man or woman right now that was probably a bit similar in your position, you know, like you said, divorced, had children? I mean, I don't know if yours was amicable, toxic or whatever, but what would you say to women thinking, nah, this can't happen to me?
Yeah, I'd say if you've just gone through divorce and you're in a really low place, you know, like I said before, God's wiped the slate clean for you to start again, because maybe you're worth more and there's more to your life than what previously occurred. So it's your time to shine right now. So get out there and, you know, do what you're passionate about. This is why, you know, I love the fact that Raj really pushed Nim, like, do this, you know, and she was so successful and so good at what she did, and she won a lot of awards. Even, you know, up until recently, she's been winning awards for everything that she did, and within the community for business women. And we're both in business, not together but separately. And, you know, you can do it. We're raising 6 children and pursuing our passions, and we've got hobbies, and, you know, we've got friends and family that we spend time with. You can do it. There's 24 hours in a day. You can do it. The time is now. Invest in yourself.
100%. And look, the advice that I can give to you guys, just as a coach or as a relationship coach, is in order to go forward, you have to deal with your past. You know, I have to deal with your past. And those of you that don't know me, you can check out my story, you can discover what I'm about. But I will say this, it took 6.5 years later for me to go back and clear my past with my ex-in-laws, with my ex-past. You know, it was done with. And it wasn't because I needed to do it because I was wrong. I needed to do it because I wanted a future. And the only way you get a future is when you've dealt with that past and closed that door authentically, with love and with real compassion. Otherwise, you're just building hate on top of hate, and that doesn't work. You're just weak foundations for the future. That's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say, those of you that don't know how to love yourself or stand in a stature that says, I want to take care of me, because I tell you, this woman sat in front of me right now, Parm, she's a rock solid woman, and I've never met her in person, but just from talking with her, you wouldn't be able to be the strength for Raj if you weren't the strength for yourself.
100%.
You know, you cannot give out love to others if you can't love yourself. Sorry, Raj.
And it's that analogy, you know, when you're sat in a plane and then the mask comes down. They said you've got to put the oxygen mask on yourself first, because if you're not getting the oxygen, how are you going to put it on the person sitting next to you? So it's exactly the same. You know?
I was 7 years a police officer. My family going to laugh.
I was waiting for her to get that in. I was waiting for her to get that in.
I didn't know that. Hang on a minute.
The first teacher in training school is, you know, personal safety first. So it doesn't matter if the suspect's about to get away. If he's about to stab you, you save yourself first. You know, let's step away. Let's step out of the shadows. You know, let's not live in the shadows anymore. Let's not live. We don't live for anybody. You've got to live for yourself first. You know, if you're not happy with yourself, how can you possibly give any happiness to your children or to the people in your life?
I think you've got a few fit family members on, Parm.
Yeah.
There we go.
I do have to get that in.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, it has been an absolute privilege and pleasure interviewing you both. I am just left so loved up, should I say. And, you know, for those of you that are thinking, you know what, I want to get in a relationship like this, then it takes something to do some work around it. You know, I host relationship masterclasses. So if you want to find out what it takes to become the person that you want to be and attract the love in your life, whether you are single, married, or divorced, and even when you're married, if you're going through something right now that you think, God, this is tough, this is real tough, then you need to do the inner work. So there's a free masterclass. Sign up in the bio, so go ahead and sign up. For now, I just want to thank you both. I can't believe I'm the first person that got to interview you.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, we're very, very grateful.
Oh,
And
I'm grateful to you guys.
yeah, no, and much love to all the Insta fam there. You know, loving the comments, and we will definitely we'll go through them.
Yeah.
For sure. Thank you so much, everybody. Well, this is it.
There.
We're going to sign off. Thank you so much for staying with us. The video will go up on RGTV. I hope it will take the whole hour and a half. I thought we were going to get chucked off, but thank God we didn't. And thank you for so many of you that are regulars that know me, and appreciate all your love and support always. Thank you, and
Thank
no
you.
doubt I will speak to you both soon. Lots of love. Bye.
See you later. Bye. Bye.
Bye.